Welcome to the channel. Thank you everyone for tuning in. Now look, how do you guys feel about watches or brands that have just homaged a particular design way too much? I get why a lot of people don't like AliExpress watches, and this is one of the primary reasons, is that there's not that much variety, number one, and number two, you get so many brands giving us just the same watches over and over again. Now, one of the watches which I don't say detest or despise, but when I get like a sub homage, and I think a lot of other watch reviews feel the same, and a lot of viewers, that it's just been done to like beyond death, beyond the grave. That design, I mean, if any new watch brand comes out, they think they need to make a sub homage. I mean, that's done now. You know, we're way past that. Now, they've done that to the Explorer, right? The Explorer homage. We've seen so many brands come out with these. And from Cadisen's perspective, maybe they hadn't done it before, but they've done variants which I think are a lot nicer. So they've done, I don't know the model number, but they've done a sort of date variant where they have the date across the top. I really like that. They had some nice, interesting dial colors. And Cadisen have, like many other more interesting watches. They are quite unique to them, you know, very different designs. And which are probably a lot better. The only thing Cadisen have really going for them is they've got a very budget-friendly price. They're priced, I think, beautifully, well under £100. So they're priced around the £50 to £70 mark on the majority of their watches. There are a few watches which are a bit over that. I mean, they do one watch which is a dress watch with their Miyota 9015, which they did, I say, about 2 years ago. So that was quite good from Cadisen. But they do sadly rely on coming back to some of these homages. Now, as a watch reviewer, there's not much that I can say. I've seen a lot of Explorer homages in my time, Pagani design, and maybe loads of others that are not coming to my mind right now. So having a good look at this, is there anything about this Cadisen which stands out? I'd say, unfortunately, no. The case is pretty generic. The bracelet's very generic. You know, in terms of finishing, it is fully brushed, and so is the A-face. We usually do find polished cases. And so the center polished links, so that's just a bit different, but again, we have seen other brands with that. You've also got the sort of the larger bezel. I don't like that. I think the version 2 cases that were coming out, which had a much slimmer bezel, I think that gives the watch a much nicer profile, in all honesty. This is just far too wide, and they're not actually 36mm. The majority of these watches are around 37mm, with the exception, I believe, of a Remolti, which was actually 36mm. You've also got a lug-to-lug of around 45mm. It's around 12mm thick. And as I said, the price around £60 or £70. So that's probably the best thing about it. It is very reasonably priced. And one thing different about Cadisen, they have started to sort of sign all the rehautes, which is probably not needed. Maybe something different to look at, but it's definitely not needed. And this one comes with a solid case back as well, and it's got your sort of standard clasps now. I'm also beyond these clasps. They're a bit bulky. For me, in all honesty, they're a bit edgy as well. I was never a huge fan of these clasps. They are functional, they do work, but as I said, usually, you know, the flaps here, they're a bit loose, which just makes it just wear quite uncomfortably, to be honest. And then you've got this micro adjust, which are difficult to get into. I really want to gauge how you guys feel. You know, is it worth us reviewers looking at just the same watch over and over again from a different brand? I mean, I get it if it's significant enough. So, for example, when San Martin came out, you know, that's going to be probably the best of the best, and it's worth getting that in just to kind of say this is probably the best one you want to get. But with regards to your run-of-the-mill stuff, very generic stuff, it's quite boring to review, and yeah, it's probably quite boring to watch. With this watch, as I said, there was nothing which stood out to me which made it seem that much different from what's already out there, aside from the finishing that I mentioned. The crown is okay, it's quite gritty, it's not as smooth, but it's not flimsy in operation. You know, I know I've seen like a lot of Bliga watches before where the crowns are quite flimsy, they move a lot, but this crown is okay, but it's not smooth on the threading at all. And yeah, it has an NH35 in there, Sapphire, you know, your normal specs. I'm not going to go into them, but it has a ghost position, so it should be using a NH38, as we know. And had they used that, and I think just on the merit of the NH38 alone, they probably would have got more money, and people would have probably bought it a bit more. This does come with apparently BGW9 lume. For the £70 mark, I don't expect it to be amazing. Let's see how good the BGW9 is on this. So the loom is surprisingly quite good on this. It's a lot better than the majority of the Pagani design watches out there. It's just a bit duller on the numerals, however on the buttons and the handset, it's bright enough as you can see. It's not had no UV ray intervention, just from the lights in this room, and it performs quite well. So, I mean, if you still haven't had an Explorer Homage in your hand, I mean, considering the Cadisen, loom is better than Pagani design. However, there's nothing really that different than a lot of the Homages out there. And the price is reasonable. So if you are interested in something like this, guys, I'll put the link in the description, as I always do. You feel free to check it out. But I would actually point you towards some of Cadisen's other designs, which I think are probably a bit better and a bit different. I'll link them in the description, of course. Feel free to check them out. I mean, they're not a bad brand. It's just brands in general, when they jump on like a bandwagon a little too late, and this is beyond a little too late, it's very late actually. There's just not much in there for them, because the majority of people have already experienced that with another brand. So that's my final opinion on this. Yeah, short and sweet video, and that's a result of just having numerous homages of the same thing, I suppose. So that's it for today, guys. Hope you enjoyed that. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below, and I'll see you in the next video.